You walk into a studio and you've been looking forward to the session all week. You know the song, you've rehearsed it, you know you can sing. And then the track starts. You step up to the mic and what comes out is nothing. Not silence. It's actually worse than silence. It's technically correct notes that feel completely empty. Your voice sounds totally detached from the song. You do take after take, and it doesn't get any better. The producer says, let's try one more time, and you know the problem isn't the take, and you don't know how to fix it. And that's what it looks like when you are emotionally unavailable in a recording studio. So today I'm going to explain exactly what is happening to your voice when that occurs, why it happens, and what a vocal producer can do to help you get back on track. Welcome to the vocal booth. I'm Leslie Korsmather here in the vocal booth with you, and this is a very honest video. As a singer and producer, I have been on both sides of the glass for too many recording sessions than I can even count. And if there's one thing that I can tell you with absolute certainty, it's the hardest part of recording a great vocal is being emotionally authentic in a room that feels designed to make you feel emotionally absent. This is a thing that nobody in the studio wants to say out loud. Nobody's talking about this, so I'm going to say it. First, let's define what we're actually talking about. Because being emotionally unavailable in the booth doesn't mean that the artist is cold or difficult or untalented. It means that for whatever reason, and we will get to those reasons, you, the artist, can't access and emote the feelings that the song is asking for. And when I say can't access, I mean it literally. The emotional pathway to a song is blocked, and your vocal reflects that block. Here's what I see and I hear when an artist is emotionally unavailable in the booth. And tell me if any of this sounds familiar to you. The vocal is technically correct. The words are there, the melody is there, but nobody is feeling anything. It's mechanical, it's robotic, nothing feels organic or alive. The artist is thinking about the song instead of feeling the song. I've even heard several artists say, I'm just not feeling it today. When you're feeling it, it comes alive. When you're thinking about it and overthinking about it, it's robotic. The dynamics flatten out. Every line comes out roughly the same volume and same intensity. The soft lines that should feel like a whispered confession just sound quieter, not more intimate, just quieter. The high notes get tense, and this is a big one. When an emotional pipeline is closed, the body compensates by physically gripping. It tenses up, and you can hear it. The note comes out with excess pressure and tightness, and the artist knows, which makes it worse. You know when you're in the vocal booth, and you know when you hear it in the playback. You know exactly what's missing, and that awareness makes the next take even worse. And that's about when I usually hear an artist say, I'm just not feeling it today. Here's why I want you to understand the physical side of this, because once you know what's happening in your body, you can and should stop blaming yourself. This is not a talent problem. This is a physiology problem, and physiology can be addressed. Physiology refers to the physical and bodily changes that occur when we experience an emotion. For instance, a fast heartbeat or sweating. And when you're emotionally disconnected or stressed or self-conscious or anxious, your body releases cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone. And one of the things that it does is cause muscle tension. Specifically, it causes tension around the larynx, your voice box, and throughout the muscles in your neck and your jaw and your throat. So now you see the problem. Your vocal cords need to vibrate freely to produce the full warmth and richness of your voice. And when there's tension, that vibration is constrained. Your range narrows and the tone loses its roundness. The breathiness that gives the vocal an intimate sound disappears because your body is tense and tight instead of released. Cortisol affects your breath control. Your breathing actually gets shallower. The breath support that you need to sing your vocal and to sustain long phrases is not there anymore. It gets cut off at the source. And the cruelest part of all this is that as you become more aware that something's wrong, the more cortisol your body produces. The anxiety about the performance creates the exact condition that's causing the problem in the first place. It's a loop. And it's very hard to break that loop on your own from inside the booth. It doesn't work to just tell an artist to just try again or just to relax. That doesn't fix the loop. You can't just tell your cortisol to relax. You can't just tell it to stop. You can't just tell your muscles in your larynx to just release on command. You have to interrupt the loop from the outside. This is what a vocal producer is there to do for you. And to be honest with you, I'm amazed that there aren't more of us around. So let's talk about what happens, because being emotionally unavailable doesn't just come from nowhere. In my experience, it comes from one of four places, usually more than one at the same time. The first one is the environment itself. The recording studio is a clinically acoustically isolated environment by design. The vocal booth is an acoustically treated room, so there's no natural reverb in here. You're standing alone with a pair of headphones in front of a microphone. And for most people, this environment is the opposite of where we sing the best. And that's why I use the word clinical, because you probably are very comfortable singing in your car or in your home or in your shower. But once you step in here, that all goes away. The recording studio removes all the environmental cues that your nervous system has associated with safe, calm, free singing, and replaces them with the pressure to perform. And not surprisingly, your voice responds accordingly. Number 2, the clock. Studio time costs money, and artists know this. And the moment that you know that the clock is running, something shifts in you. You feel pressure. You become results oriented. And instead of really enjoying the process, you're thinking about the time. You're thinking about the money. The voice feels this shift immediately, and it reflects in the recording. And this is especially brutal for developing artists who are still just learning what it feels like to be in a session, to be in a vocal booth. They're trying to make the most of every moment, not make mistakes, not waste anybody else's time. And all of that is the opposite of what a great recording asks of you. Number 3, emotional proximity to the song. Sometimes the reason that an artist can't access the emotion is that they're actually too close to it. The song is about something real that happened, something painful, something unresolved. And standing in a professional studio, again, clinical studio, in front of a microphone with headphones on, being asked to emote and asked to perform that very real pain to you on command in front of people, while someone on the other side of the booth is sitting there with a pen and paper to give you notes on your performance, that's an enormous task. So then your protective instincts kick in and the vocal goes flat because the voice is refusing to go somewhere that feels unsafe. Number 4, disconnection from the song itself. Sometimes the artist has rehearsed the song so many times that they've worn the feeling out and they kind of forgot what it felt like to begin with. And the lyric that used to make them feel something has become this sequence of words that they've repeated so long that it often just doesn't mean anything anymore. And this is especially common when an artist has been preparing for months and workshopping the songs and playing it for everyone and running it over and over, and then by the time they get into the vocal booth to the actual recording session, the song feels hollow. The emotion was used up in all the rehearsals. All right, so what are we going to do about this? Here's the part that I've never seen anyone else on this platform talk about. What does a vocal producer do when they see that an artist is emotionally unavailable in the booth? Because just relax is not a technique. Do it again is not a technique. Try it again is not a technique. It's not helpful. Here's what I actually do, and here's some tools that you can take away. The first thing I do is stop. Not take a break. Actually, stop the recording. I take the headphones off the artist and we step out of the booth. And we don't talk about the song, we talk about something else. And what I'm doing is I'm breaking the loop. The loop between the artist's awareness of the problem and the anxiety that the awareness is giving them. Every time they hear another take and hear it played back, the loop tightens. And so the only way to break it is to stop feeding it. The next thing I do is I ask an artist to tell me about the song. Who is this song about? Where were you when you wrote this line? What happened right before this song existed? So I'm reestablishing the emotional connection that the session environment robbed the artist of. I'm reminding the artist that these words came from someplace real to them. And often just telling the story of a song brings the feeling back. Sometimes the artist cries during the conversation, and that's okay. I don't move on. I don't rush them. I let it happen until they're ready to go back in, because that's actually the feeling that we're looking for. And if it's present in the room right now, I want them to get back on the mic while they're feeling it. One artist and I were talking about her song. She wrote it and she started crying, and she asked if she could just go in right away and start recording it. So we went in, I hit record, and I just let her go from start to finish. And there were places in the song that she couldn't even sing because she was crying. And I just let her go. I just let it roll. And when we were done, I said, we're actually going to use some of that, because on the other side, I was listening and I was getting teary because I could feel the emotion coming through. And that's powerful. I had one artist who needed to sit on the floor as she sang. She was comfortable sitting on the floor and singing. She was used to doing it with her ukulele, and so it felt right to her. More right to her than standing clinically in front of a microphone. I have one artist who loves soft pink lighting, and so I give it to her every single time, and it makes her feel comfortable. Sometimes I stay in the booth with an artist as emotional support. Whatever I can do to change the feeling of the environment, I'll do it. Changing the environment itself can be enough to reset the nervous system. Capturing a vocal take in positions that would seem completely unorthodox from a technical standpoint is acceptable to me, because technically imperfect recordings recordings of a real emotional performance is so much better, always, always, always more valuable than a technically perfect recording of nothing. Distraction can be your friend. Sing it with more feeling is useless when the feeling isn't even accessible to you. So I get specific. I might say, on this line, I want you to speak to that one specific person. I want you to picture their face and I want you to tell this person about it. I want you to have a conversation with that person. Or I might say the chorus is not about sadness. You're angry. It's about defiance. And here's why you're angry. Sometimes I give an artist a physical action. I might say, each time you sing this line, I want you to throw the line at the wall. And it works. Giving the artist something to do can be a really great tool. The last one is about language. My language is always encouraging. You know when you're not doing something right. You don't need somebody else to tell you that you're doing it wrong. And so the moment an artist feels like the problem is theirs alone to carry, the walls go up. That's not a good thing. When they know I'm in it with them, solving the problem together, trying to find the performances alongside them, something in them relaxes. The voice relaxes with it. And this is where having an emotional advocate in the studio with you is a really, really important thing. Confidence and emotional security are the two conditions under which a great vocal performance becomes possible. And my job as vocal producer is to build and protect both of them for the entire duration of the session. And there are things that you can do before you ever step foot into the vocal booth that will make the emotional block less likely to show up or easier to break when it does. The first one is to know the source of your song before you record it. Don't just know the lyrics, know the story behind every line. Get familiar with it. Know the who, the when, the where, and what it felt like. Get in touch with that. Write it out if you have to, and let yourself remember as you record. And then sing the song out loud on the day of your session, not as a rehearsal, but just to connect to it. In the car, on the way, or at home before you leave. Just remind yourself what it feels like to be in the song before you step into the clinical studio environment. And then tell your vocal producer if you're going through something emotional, because if you're going through something difficult and you tell me about it, I'm your support system and I can be in that with you. Give yourself permission for the first take that you do to be a warm-up. No pressure. Tell yourself this is the first take. I'm just going to sing the song and then we'll find it from there. And bring people and props in if you need to. Some artists bring objects into the session that connect them emotionally to the song. It could be a photograph, a piece of jewelry, a stuffed animal, something that belonged to the person that the song's about. And if that sounds extreme or silly, it's not. And if someone tells you that it is, then they're not your support system. I know this episode has been very honest and a lot more honest than a lot of episodes that you'll find on this subject, but I made it because I think developing artists deserve to understand the actual changes that happen in the studio and not just the tips and tricks, but the physical landscape of what you're walking into. And if you need someone or want someone in the booth with you who understands this, who knows how to read what's happening in a session and how to adjust it all in real time, that's a vocal producer. That's what I do. And if you just need a consultation before your recording day, we can set that up as well. Or if you've already recorded very emotional vocals and you just need them cleaned up and edited and tuned, Melodyne editing is something that I offer. The links to all of these to contact me is in the description below. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so and like this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. And until then, just keep singing.